Hello and welcome back. Today, we're making that. Well, not really that. We're making another one. I built this one, started a video on it, decided I needed to do a lot of learning because the farther I went into it, I remembered that I was not really a woodworker and doing angles and stuff just are not my strong suit. So I got like an 1/8 inch off on this bottom. So when I made this front piece right, I ended up having to cut it in half and make everything fit because I could get this side to fit or this side to fit. Cut it in half. I still haven't glued it back together, as you can see the clamp on it, but it is what it is. Took me a while to figure out my angles up here, but that looks pretty good. We're painting it, so that'll help my lack of craftsmanship out and just fill these gaps in, sand them off all smooth. It'll look good when it's done. You can see here I didn't get my angles quite right, or my measurements, and like that one's down in, that one's too high, you can see there. So I'm gonna try to hide most of that with some trim, so that shouldn't be too bad. Just hide a lot of it with trim and paint. So what we're gonna do is get started on another one. I got all my stuff laid out, so hopefully it doesn't take nearly as long as it did last time. Got my table saw over here now. I know what blades I need to use on that, so I don't remember if I mentioned it already or not, but these are gonna be stackable. So that one has to be, well, this one's gonna be stacked on top of that one. So, gotta come in, change my numbers so they work. I think I have enough to get started. We're gonna get drawing. Alrighty, we got it all drawn out. I do have to put this line down at the bottom, but I'm gonna wait until I have it laid down to cut it. Took me a little longer than I was expecting it to, but that's alright. It's done now. I got my inside pieces, my outside pieces, the back, my top, and my bottom. And then from this open section down here, I'll cut that strip that goes right in front. And then just out of the other trim, I get this. Alrighty, I got my eyes and my ears. Let's get cutting. Alright, we got everything cut out. We got the insides, the outsides, all the other pieces. Now we have to get the dado blade set up so we can get the pieces carved out so they can accept each other. Like this is the bottom, obviously, so gotta get these cut out. Same with the top, the backs. Alright, we got our dado set up here. A little bit of a space here. That'll give us our 1/4 inch width there. I did that so it holds the outside. So we got to do our outsides, our bottom, and our top with that. Alright, got round 1 done. Outsides are done. And we're going to come over and do the top and bottom. Got it set up again. So this will be the right distance for the inside to get our inside grooves done. Alright, got our top and bottom done. Got one more to make. Got the back. Got the saw set up again. So we'll get that done. So we got all our pieces cut out. Now it's time to put everything together and see if I messed anything up. Alrighty, that fit together way better than that one did, but you might have seen me beating on it a little bit. Can't really tell. The plywood's just got the slightest little bow in it, so everything's tight enough that it takes a little bit of finagling to get the bows to, especially on these long pieces back here, to get the bows to go in. But that's not that big of a deal, so we'll work with it. I need to get the front piece cut out now before I take the saw apart. And we might work on this top piece. That way we can at least get to what we have that one to. Have you ever had one of those moments where you know it's quitting time? You notice how I have a bevel up here? Well, guess what? Conveniently, the other side now has a bevel too. I think I'm going to quit now and come back and figure out what I'm going to do with this in the morning. Alright, it's a new day and I think I have the problem solved. Brought the wife down last night and showed her how I messed that one up. She pointed out the fact that I still have the parts there if I want to put it back together. I don't think I'm going to go that route though. Found a actual board. It's a little short, so what I'm going to do is put the grooves in that one, and then I'm going to also put the grooves in this one. That way, if anything else goes wrong, I already have that one cut up and ready to go. I don't have to put the dado back together and get everything spaced again. I did find that, because I was playing with this just a few minutes ago and found out that this board is just a hair too long, which means I got 2 that'll fit and 2 that won't. So I'll just have to figure out what I need, cut it in half. Won't be any different than that one, but at least it'll be on top. It won't be holding any like pressure or anything. It'll be fine. Just glue it together, nail it. It'll be good. Alright, so as long as I get these ones cut up good, we should be moving along. Got them all cut up. This bottom one I was about ready to lose my mind, but it turns out this board right here has about a 1/4 inch of a bow in it. So you gotta really shove it that way to get it to fit in the groove, but got that figured out and done. I figured I'd show you this one. You can see how it's about an 1/8 inch off right there. So whatever I end up doing up here to make it look like that one, I'll just cut it in half and that'll slip right in there and that'll be fine. And then I got my extra piece cut out just in case I need a piece for something else. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is rip it all apart. I got to cut this piece, this top piece at an angle so that it'll fit, so it'll be, I don't know, trimmed out like this one. So it looks good like that. And then like this one has this flat edge on it because I cut the angle here, and then I got to cut the bottom at this angle here, and then I'll cut the bottom of this board at an angle so that everything just fits together. And now this one doesn't look good because it has the right there, so it all fits together real nice. Let's not talk about how long it took me to do this top section. well, it's done. I got my front piece, so it looks pretty like that one. And of course, I have a giant gap because my top board wasn't long enough, which I didn't think to add on because, well, you know, like I said, I don't do this for a living or often. But now I have this top piece that slides in there. That one goes in there. And then those two go on that side. Everything fits up nice. Smooth-ish. So we'll get that glued together and nailed in, and we won't have to worry about that anymore. Now, onto this bottom section. It looks like I have enough space right here. I shouldn't have to be playing that game, but we'll see. Rip the whole thing apart, get this bottom out, get the angle cut on that, get the angle cut on this. The bottom's done. It didn't take nearly as long as the top did. Let's take a look. Alright, apparently I hit pause on my record, so thankfully I got a still frame of this, but you can see the plywood on top here. That is about the thickness that this board is short, so I just cut that piece of plywood out and put it on top for proof of concept. When I put it all together, it's going to go on the bottom, so that'll make up for the thickness of the board being wrong and make everything right. I'm going to finish putting it together, make sure everything goes together right. I'm probably going to glue the top piece back on it, get that nailed together, probably nail this 1/4 inch piece on, get that glued in. And then we'll probably start working on trimming things out. Actually, we should probably glue things together and anchor stuff so it doesn't come apart. Yeah, let's do that. That way we can work on trim and not have things fall apart on us. Alright, it's a new day. Last night we got all the holes punched and everything from the Craig jig so we can get things screwed together and glued together. I just went through and lightly sanded everything, mostly just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and of course I did. I was told I needed to fill in that blowout, so of course I forgot about that, so that's drying now, so we gotta wait on that. But that's alright, we still have that one to put together and we can work on this one. So that's what we're gonna do now. We're just gonna put a bead of glue in all the joints and put the pieces together and get it screwed together. Alright, I think we're ready to put the top on. I know I said I was going to fill this gap in, but I took a little bit more off this back because the dado didn't take it like it should have. Got that cleaned up, so this closed the gap up a lot. I think the only thing you're really going to lose in there is maybe a playing card or something, but being that it's only 3/4 of an inch deep, you're not going to lose anything. You're not going to be able to just pull up with your fingers, so we're just going to leave that, get this top put on, and this one will be done except for the trim. Alright, we got this all done for now. We still have to wait for this to dry. Still pretty tacky, so I'm gonna go find something else to do for a while, and we'll be back when this dries up. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? That looks like a dried patch job. So what we're gonna do now, take the sander, sand them off, see how they turned out. Hopefully they're good enough. This doesn't look like it's super good, but like I said before, it won't peel up anymore, so hopefully it won't peel up anymore. Well, they're not perfect, but they are definitely way better than they were before, so that I will definitely take. Even this one, way better. No more hole. As long as the paint has enough to suck into. But those spots are on the inside of everything, so it's not like it's going to be seen anyways. So next, we're going to do like we did this one, just put a bead of glue around everything and screw it all together. Alright, it's been a few days since I recorded anything. What I've got done so far is figured out how I'm going to hide this ugly edge. I just got a 2x4 that I cut down 1/4 inch of. And then I cut it to the width of this. And those sit in there. Cut those out all ugly, so the ugly is on the bottom. What do I do with my pieces? And then I made these pieces that just sit in here, and that'll give me my clean 90, or not 90, my clean angle in here on both sides. Just stick them up in there. And so when I'm ready, I'll just put a bead of glue behind them and nail them in, nail this down. Still have these end pieces to do. What else did I do? I got all my Craig holes plugged on this box. I still have to do that box. On the sides here, I think I've decided I'm just going to cut down these shavings from a 2x4 and just cover them up. This one's upside down. Put the milled edge on the top. That way it'll be rounded and everything, look good, clean. And then underneath where things broke off at, I'll just fill them in with either little pieces of wood like that or something just to keep the strength up. Alrighty, that's the update for now, so I'll check back in when I'm farther along. Well, I got most of the stuff cut out, so let's take a look. I got my skim pieces for my 2x4s that I have cut up. Wow, that one's terrible. Oh well. We might have to replace that one. I got a few extras. But anyway, we got them cut out. So, like I said before, stick those on the sides there. I cut them a little long just so when I go to do things that I can make everything real pretty then. Got all these cut out. So, get that nailed on. This lower box, I'm just going to use these 2x4 offcuts because you can see these angles turned out much better. So, just cover up the 2x4 bit and be good with that. We got our side pieces. I don't think I'm going to do anything to the back, but we'll see if we get carried away and do that. I got most of my plugs for this box cut out. I'm not sure how many more I need, but I'll need a few more. But the goal now is just to do what I have done and see what else I have to do after that. Alright, so we did this side, and it got a little bit of a gap here. No big deal, fill it. A little bit of ugliness down here, fill that. Just fill it and sand it. This side over here, though, I managed to get way off. Like, there's a 1/4 inch from like here to here. So, put a little spacer in there and help fill that gap. And then I'm going to take this, and that'll hold this back edge up away from that. So, let's see if I can get it to sit. Nope, no chance. Got that spacer in there so I can put this one there, and that'll hold the back corner out. That way when I cut this one and shape it, it'll slide right up there and they'll blend together much better. And then I'll have to fill this gap back in here. Okay, while we wait for this one to dry, so we can take that tape off and finish that up, we're going to work on this one over here. So we got this trim on, and then I packed these edges that didn't have the board, where the board broke off. Packed those with sawdust and glue. Tried to get them as smooth as I could. That way I could take the filler and then just fill that in and sand it off, make it look all pretty. Got this flipped over. I think I'm going to do this bottom edge just for the strength. Mostly on this would be the top of it. So mostly this one just needs the corners. This one still has this edge piece gluing on. But I got all of that filled in. I'm not going to do the back, I don't think. Nobody's going to see it anyways. It is what it is. Mostly it's just where my blade cut through on the back, so that ain't nothing. While it's flipped over, I think I'm gonna get this bottom worked over so I don't have to flip it over again. This board that was cut in half, you can see down here it had a little bit of a lip on it. I just took the sander real quick and sanded that off, so now it's all smooth. Might need a little, sand it just a little bit more, and then put some more filler on there and sand it back down. Make it look all smooth. That way when the paint goes on it, hopefully you won't see it. When I flip this one over, this is the bottom. I think I'm going to fill that crack in, because why not? Alright, let's get this crack filled in. Alright, that was taking too long to fill all of this in, so I used what I had left and just filled in this spot where I cut it. So that section right there will be stronger. Everything's glued and screwed anyways, so it's not like it's gonna fall apart or anything. It's just, you know, extra security. So what I'm gonna do now is spin it around and fill the cracks in. I'd do this side, but this one's still drying, so we'll let that dry. We'll do that later. Then I gotta come over here and do this one. This one I used what I had, the plug holes that I had cut. I put those in. I still need to do 21 more. So someday we'll get those cut out and put in. Alright, we got all of these sawdust patches done. This one was just a little bit low, so I added it up. That one was a little high, so while that was drying earlier, the first time I put stuff on there, I sanded this down. I got all my corners done and everything, so this one's ready to sand as soon as this is dry. I did make a complaint with the boss about how slow this dries, because this won't be ready to do anything with until, I don't know, 24 hours plus. And she told me that it's because it's not super glue. So I made it super by putting a cape on it, so hopefully it dries a little faster. Got this box all done. So what I'm going to do now is put them on the ground and start sanding on the back of them, because there's nothing drying back there and should be good on the sides of them. Just start sanding away. It's sanding time. Time to get that stuff cleaned up. I got the bottom, back, and top of this one done. I still have to clean up the sides, get these edges cleaned up. I went to move this one and broke this off, so now I gotta wait for that stuff to dry again, but ain't no big deal. I got other things to do. Got the top of this, or the side I guess would be, cleaned up some. Got this edge shaped, so that looks good. But we still have to do the bottom and top of this one. I did the backs while I was waiting for things to dry before. Front of this one should be good. I'll probably take some putty and clean that up some, just to make it look good when the paint's on it. Need to sand the insides a little bit and get my plugs finished, but other than that, we're almost done. Well, today we made great progress. Finally got, I believe, everything sanded. Everything's smooth. Got my edges, maybe if I can get it to focus, my edges rounded. So I don't have any sharp edges on it. Everything's smooth. My corners are good. I don't know if I showed it or not, but this is one piece, and then I had to cut another little piece to go under it, so just put some filler in there and smooth it out. And once it's painted, you won't be able to tell that's there. I got all my plugs in and filled around and sanded. So next thing, get them de-dusted and get them painted. Alrighty, so we got them both dusted off and covered up so they didn't collect more dust. Now we're gonna get them painted. I'm gonna start with the bottoms and backs, just to make sure we like the color and the coverage and everything on it before we get too carried away and do things that you're gonna have to see every day. I got the color approved and kept on painting. We got the insides done. This is the top of one of them. When I flipped it over on the board, I apparently had some wet spots, so when I paint it this second time, I'll touch those up first, and that way when I get back to this side, they'll be dry and I can paint right over it. This one turned out really good. There's a tiny little spot right down there that needs touched up, but other than that, they look good for their first coat. So let's put another one on. Alright, one last thing to do. We're going to put feet on this bottom one, so when the humidity gets fluctuating and stuff in the summer, it doesn't glue itself to the floor, kind of like these two are right now. There's nothing holding them together except for the paint, so we'll get these put on the bottom and do a final look. We got the feet on. When I was trying to move them to get them apart, we did lose a little bit of paint, as expected. Get them put together and take one final look at it. So we got them back together. The edges all look pretty good. The back's even. You can see these a little bit. Not from a distance though. These trim pieces trimmed out good. You can't see the nail holes in them or anything. Can't really tell that that one was cut in half. If you get up and get the glare on it, you can see it. Maybe. Right there, you can see it a little bit. But all these pieces turned out real good. This bottom lip, like this one, is hidden. This cut right here is hidden from where it sits on it, so you can't see that one. This side looks good. Again, it's pretty even. You can see these a little bit. That one's a little bit better, but not much. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. If you've seen something I did that I should have done differently, please leave it in the comments. It's a good learning experience for future projects. If you want to see more random builds like this, hit subscribe. And as always, have a great day.